You know how when you're a kid, your brain makes monsters out of shadows? Every creak in the house at night becomes something terrifying. Every shape in the dark feels alive. But what I'm about to share with you wasn't a shadow, and it wasn't just my imagination. It was very, very real. And honestly, retelling it still sends chills down my spine, because I've never been able to unsee that moment. I was about 10 years old. My family of 6 lived in this tiny, cramped apartment. When I say tiny, I mean it felt like the walls were pressing in on you. 2 bedrooms upstairs, one for my parents, and one jam-packed with my siblings. And then the downstairs was just the living room and the kitchen. It wasn't glamorous, but it was home now. When you grow up with that many siblings, sometimes you just want space. Your own little corner where no one is bothering you or fighting over toys or stealing your blanket. For me, that space was the living room couch. I'd drag a pillow and a blanket downstairs and sprawl out like I owned the place, happy to be away from the noise. This one night, though, I regretted ever sleeping on that couch. I was lying there staring toward the front door. There was this little window next to it, and if you tilted your head just right, you could see the night sky. That's what I was doing, watching the stars through that skinny rectangle of glass, letting my eyelids grow heavy. Everything was still, the kind of silence you only notice when the whole world feels asleep. And then it happened. A face appeared in the window at first. My brain didn't process it. I thought it was maybe my reflection, or maybe one of my neighbors walking past with a flashlight. But then I saw it clearly. A man's face pressed close to the glass, illuminated by the flick of a lighter. The flame lit up his features in this eerie orange glow, and for a second our eyes locked. I froze. My whole body went stiff, like if I didn't move. He couldn't see me, even though I knew he already had. Then the face disappeared. I actually let out a shaky breath of relief, convincing myself it was just one of our sketchy neighbors. It had a couple of them, the type who hung out on the stairwell smoking at all hours. I figured maybe he was just checking if the lights were still on in our apartment. No big deal. But then, just as my heart started to slow down, the face appeared again. This time it lingered longer, his eyes scanning the room, his mouth curled into this unsettling little smirk. And I remember thinking, oh God, this is not normal. I tried to scream. I swore I opened my mouth as wide as I could, but nothing came out. It was like my voice had been stolen. My throat locked up, my chest froze, and all I could do was stare in paralyzed silence. And then he kicked the door in. The sound was deafening. The wood cracked and splintered, the whole door frame shuddering as he burst inside. And there he was, standing in the living room, just a few feet from me. He looked right at me. I'll never forget that smile. It wasn't just a grin, it was this slow, deliberate smile, like he was enjoying the fear radiating off me. Like he knew he had complete control in that moment. Without a word, he turned and walked toward the kitchen. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I was going to pass out. I wanted to run, but my body wouldn't move. I was stuck to that couch, my mind screaming at me to do something while my body refused to obey. A few seconds later, he came out of the kitchen holding a knife. That was it. I thought I was going to die right there on that couch at 10 years old. I remember this sinking realization washing over me like, this is how it ends. My parents asleep upstairs, my siblings safe in their beds, and me, alone in the living room staring at a stranger with a knife. But then, it's footsteps. Heavy, quick footsteps coming down the stairs. My dad, he must have heard the door, because the next thing I know, he's charging down with this wild look in his eyes. The man froze for just a split second, then bolted. He didn't even hesitate. He sprinted for the broken door and disappeared into the night. My dad ran after him for a few steps, yelling, but the guy was gone before he even made it to the street. Remember sitting there on the couch, trembling so hard my teeth chattered? My dad was asking if I was okay, but my voice still wouldn't work. I just nodded, eyes locked on the doorway where the man had stood with that knife. That night changed me. I never looked at the couch the same way again. In fact, I couldn't sleep on a couch for years after. Even now, as an adult, I find it almost impossible to relax on one if I'm home alone. My brain goes right back to that moment, the face in the window, the door crashing in, the smile, the knife. And here's the thing, he was never caught. Who was he? A neighbor? A random stranger? Someone who had been watching us for a while? I'll never know. But what I do know is that he wasn't just there to rob us. He smiled when he saw me. He walked into the kitchen and deliberately picked up a knife. He had bad intentions. Really bad intentions. That realization is what keeps me up some nights. The what ifs. Fear if my dad hadn't woken up. What if the man had gotten closer before? Anyone came downstairs? What if I hadn't been on the couch and he'd crept upstairs instead? I'll never get answers. Just the memory replaying in my mind every time I think I've moved past it. So yeah, that's the story. The night I saw a face in the window, and it nearly became the last night of my life. If you made it this far, thanks for sticking with me through this nightmare. If you enjoy hearing real stories like this one, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and follow the channel True Threads for more.